It's been a while, Jacques, since we felt this happy in the garden. And why are we happy, Jacques?
Because it's harvest time.
It's harvest time. We're gonna do a epic late summer steamy harvest here at the homestead at sunset, starting off with this whole row of tomatoes that really needs to go.
At this point of the year, it's steamy, not just for us, but for these plants in San Diego. These have been growing for a long time now. And I'm not allowed to say the word, but I think we got a little bit of root knot nematode.
Oh!
So what we're gonna do is we're going to take the harvest that we have, which is actually really good, but these plants are done. There's not much
They need
left
to get out of the garden. They're roasted, toasted, and broasted.
Yeah.
You know you can broast something in the kitchen.
What is it roasting?
It's a broiled toast, I think. Broiling and toasting at the same time.
I don't know.
So this is kind of what we're dealing with here. Amongst the debris, the detritus, as Jacques would say, you've got all sorts of juicy little orbs. I mean, Jacques, these are just
They're actually like really good.
pure juice.
I like these pink ones.
Look at this bad boy, little stacker. Imagine you get this on your plate in the morning, breakfast
Honestly,
time.
I've been there.
Oh my gosh, they're just so, poundage-wise, we're about to get, oh, those have a little bit of that pink blush.
I love the pink tomatoes.
They got that little
Something
blush.
about it.
Yeah, ooh. So we're bringing in the artillery here because we don't really have a choice. There's simply too much for
It's a
even
jungle in here.
our BI harvest basket that I left at my house. Oh my gosh, there's so many, dude.
Everyone out there knows the shirt technique.
Yeah.
This is the original harvest basket, right? Oh, actually,
yeah.
that worked.
That worked really well. Dude, and these are so perfectly ripe right now, too.
Honestly, these orange ones feel amazing.
Yeah.
I think I need to get in there.
Oh my
I need to get in there.
I think you do. You're gonna bite it?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Give me a wipe. Give me
Cheers.
a wipe.
Here,
It's
wipe
just,
it. Wipe it.
this shirt's too clean. I'm gonna use yours.
Well,
That
do
summer
you want?
juice.
It's a little dirty.
Hold on.
A little.
That summer juice. Cheers.
Mmm.
It reminds me of those plums.
That's a lemon boy.
That's a lemon boy for sure.
Wow.
Mmm.
That's actually really good. It's tart.
Ooh.
It's crispy.
Oh, it's got that. it's got.
It's juicy. That's a good tomato, man.
If you hit that chasm, if you hit that chasm where more of the juice is, but you go right into that with your teeth, it really starts to just. Yeah. You know what?
That's a snacker.
Why don't we give the hens a little treat? The real question for our little hens is, are they gonna prefer the lemon boy juicer? Here you go, butter. Here you go, butter. Oh, he went right for it. Hold on. Look at lobster. Oh my God, hold on, let me get in there.
They're savaging. Oh my gosh, just stole it from me.
Go. Lav.
Now they're chasing off the other one. Wow, I guess mine was a little better. Oh, dude, lobster just snatched that.
But here's the thing. When you're feeding your hens, you really want to be giving them some kind of real treat that they can enjoy.
Some protein.
Grubblies Hometown Harvest. Let's get the treat. It's always butter that goes crazy for these Grubblies. Look at that, bop, 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 machine gun. I swear, I do view them a bit like machine guns these days. They're just pop, pop,
That's
pop.
like ferocious.
Yeah. Well, they're the closest
It's like
thing to
eating a
dinosaurs,
tomato.
right?
Yeah. All right, so now we're loaded every single tomato, yeah?
Back to the action. There's a lot of these lemon. You know what? I'm curious because I can say that I like that crunch clearly by my reaction.
It was crunchy.
But lemon boy's not my favorite tomato of all time. So I might try a sauce approach with this
Okay.
and just kind of see what kind of life I could live doing that.
And look what I've picked. That's insane. I'm still on the same patch, by the way. I've almost filled up my shirt.
The only reason I moved, it's not because there weren't tomatoes, it's because I got bored. There's too many, and I was picking too many of the same one. You know, the thing that I will say, Jacques, this year, I'm a little bummed on is I didn't intentionally grow a big variety of peppers. It was just one of those crops that kind of slipped by the wayside for us this year. And that's usually just not the case for me. You know, I like to grow.
Yeah, we've gone pretty crazy on some years.
Like all sorts of different kind of guys. I'm in a paprika season of life, guys. Look at this. This is like a beautiful pepper. These are such an interesting one, Jacques. It's like a yellow, small heirloom shape.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think they're undersized. I think that is just kind of how they grow.
Yeah, then this
Really
one
cute.
just has like a little more faceting on it.
Yeah.
And more texture.
Yeah, that's a nice tomato. It almost looks like an apple.
So this is a classic heirloom tomato right here.
Wow.
That cat face on the bottom.
Woo. It's got something on the bottom, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, oh, look at this little dopplet.
Oh, those are nice.
That's a nice little cluster of cherries.
Oh, is this that black cobra one?
Here. Pop one.
Okay.
Let's see.
Never say no.
Oh,
That's sweet.
that's sweet.
It's like borderline too sweet.
It's actually, there's no acidity.
Wow.
Wow.
This is the weirdest looking pepper plant I've seen.
Yeah.
It's like fuzzy.
Yeah. It's the Chinense variety.
Yeah.
The Chinense is the.
Oh, and they do go red.
That they will eventually.
I'm scared to try it.
I don't think you should, honestly. We still need to harvest the rest of this garden now, Jacques. You did it? Are you getting hot?
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
No.
No,
That was a mistake.
that was a mistake.
That was a mistake, dude. Okay, it's just this row that we harvested, and we're already sitting deep on the Tommies. But now, we gotta hit that corn, Jacques.
Oh.
Still coughing from your pepper adventure, but let's take a look at the honey and cream. Or butter gold, it could be one or the other.
So I think I'm gonna cool down.
Oh, crunch it, crunch it, crunch it.
That feels better.
Does it? All right, let's see what I got, Jacques. Definitely had an earworm in here. Earwig, actually, your favorite. Woo!
Not my favorite.
I think this corn's just a touch over. But we're still gonna.
Still has that butteriness.
Yeah, we're still solid. We got better corn out front though.
Wow, that dumper is full.
Hey, eyes up here. Jacques, you just entered a portal to a new world. Look at the garden right now.
Incredible.
Look at the front yard garden. Is this not the most beautiful you've ever seen it?
That fresh mulch?
Hit that tomato and tell me what you think.
Everything.
It's good, right? So there's actually something crazy to share here. We just spent the last week redoing all the mulch here in the front yard, but also redoing the raised beds. It's been about 5 or 6 years since we've redone the raised beds here. The reason why is because these are now all epic metal raised beds. These are our own brand now. You know we've been carrying Birdie's for a long time. Birdie's has now gone direct in the USA. So we have our own line, which I'm really excited about. You know, obviously it's a change here, but what we decided to do was kind of bring everything under our own name, because you guys have been supporting us with Botanical Interest, with our seed trays, with our grow bags. All of those are under our name. We wanted to be able to really make whatever we wanted. And that's what we've always tried to do, especially with that irrigation kit that just came out, Jacques.
Absolutely.
And so it's just all part of a growing journey here. The coolest part though, is that we have a limited lifetime warranty on these, which at least right now, no one else is offering that in the industry.
And they're tested.
We tested pretty much every test you could run, and we published those results. So you have like full confidence that these are the safest beds on the market. And I'm just excited about it. And I also think the garden just looks really good right now.
It just looks so crispy.
Look at that. So Jacques, this is our other main corn patch this year. This is a variety that you really, it's not that you sort of put me onto it, but you really got me excited about growing it.
It's one of my favorites.
Martian Jewel.
It's kind of like a classic heirloom variety. There's a lot of cool things about it that I want to hype up a little bit.
Yeah.
First of all, look at the color of that husk.
The husk is insanely dark.
Not only that, but if I rub it, oh well, let me try a little deeper. You'll see what I mean in a second. Can actually be used as a natural dye. It is so potent and purple that it will stain your fingers at the, like you could see right there.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So people dye like cloth with it. You could do all sorts of things with it. But the really neat thing about it is that if you don't eat it as a sweet corn, you can let it dry and you could still use it as a dry corn. So it's a multi-purpose corn.
Take a look. This you can see because of the denting on the ear, it's just a touch overripe for sweet corn. So just dry it as a dry corn. Maybe we can make some cornmeal out of it.
Cornmeal, cornbread. I'd actually be really interested to see if it makes a good tortilla too.
It'd be nice.
But it's a beautiful variety.
Let's harvest it up. These ones are popping off easy.
Yeah, they're snapping. And it looks like in this case, we did get a true single ear per
One or two is typical.
Yeah.
Obviously with the heirloom varieties, you can get a lot more, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're getting better quality.
The other thing I noticed is that I don't see any earworms on this.
We'll find out, but I didn't see any on the other two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't feel them. You know how you can go up to the front and see if it's...
Dude.
It's straight to the head.
Like
straight to the tip. Yeah. That's really nice.
Fully loaded pollination.
That is a really nice. Call me crazy, Jacques, but next year, you'll probably see it here on the homestead. I think I'm gonna grow a dyer's garden. Ooh. When I was in Japan, I dyed indigo with natural indigo in
really nice.
Like a vat, you know, the traditional way. Got me really excited about all these different types of dyes that you can do. Turns out there's way more in our climate than almost any other climate.
San Diego.
Even cochineal.
Oh yeah.
On the prickly pear. So that's like a classic dye. We've got avocado. Now some of these dyes aren't, of course, waterproof, but some of them are. And some of you some of you real diehard Epic Homesteaders know I've been on a pretty crazy art journey lately. So I'm excited to try to make my own pigments to do my own like watercolors.
I feel like this would work as a watercolor.
I think it'd be a good watercolor.
So over here, these jalapeno plants are definitely ready to harvest. The cool thing about peppers is that depending on varieties, I think almost everyone does it. But when you see this striping, it's called corking, and that's like a guarantee that this pepper has reached ripeness. Now, the other thing that's really interesting about jalapenos is that when they go red like this and you smoke and dry them, that's a chipotle pepper. So jalapeno, chipotle, they're the same plant. It's just the process and the stage at which you harvest them. I personally like eating them at both. I think that the red ones are a little bit sweeter, but I'll pick them at any stage and they're still delicious.
I just want to say this garden is just looking so good right now, Jacques. It is looking so good. My shadow is tall because we're actually here at sunset, which is a beautiful time to be in the garden, but I don't know, what do you think? Should we check out the orchard?
Yeah, let's do it.
Might not have a harvest, but we can at least see the progress. I'm seeing something that's bringing back some memories.
Which one?
Stone Fruit Frenzy.
Oh, yeah, too bad you were in Japan for the peach season, but I definitely helped myself.
I'm so bummed about that.
Oh, wow.
The apples are going, but look what we just found. I know, I know.
They're huge.
They're huge, the
Actually,
pommos.
it's almost ready?
It's almost ready. Well,
It's starting to get faceted.
Yeah, you know when a palm's ready when it's getting a little faceted, as you said, but this should not be ready yet.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little early.
But I will say, Jacques, we did that whole guide on pruning pomegranate trees earlier this year, and not to put myself up there,
I mean,
but I have some kind of pruning gift. I think I've discovered this. It's totally innate. I have some kind of pruning gift. These have exploded. They were at least a third of the size.
yeah,
I
I'd
would
say so. Yeah.
And now they're going really, really big. There's
crazy.
probably 30 plus pomegranates,
Easy.
maybe even on each.
Yeah.
I'm red-green colorblind, so when I look at this, I don't see them.
I see them.
Jacques has to
They're in
find them
there.
for me. Look at this guy. I think this is the Parfianca variety, but it might be Wonderful.
Look at
this cluster,
these.
though.
They're
Look at that
huge.
cluster.
And there's like
That
a whole
cluster.
nother half dozen in there.
That's crazy. Look over here. Oh my, and then the light just coming through.
Oh.
Jacques' favorite plant. I bet you're mad you ever planted this here.
I'm happy that at least it's doing something now. Like there's actually quite a bit of papaya on here.
There's a lot of papaya.
I wish I liked papaya.
Is this bird poop? What is
think
that on there?
It might be, oh, it's juicing on me.
Oh, oh.
Okay, I might have broke it when I harvested it. But I mean, that's a nice looking papaya if you like papaya.
If you like papaya,
Which,
that's nice. Show the whole side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I smashed it a little bit.
I mean,
But
give it a smell.
it smells like papaya.
Does it really?
Which I don't really like.
Yeah.
Something.
I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, I know. But you know.
Yeah, I know. I know. Man.
It's tricky.
I like growing anything, and even if I don't like eating it that much, I still love the practice of it growing, and this grew.
I do like
This
green
really did grow.
papaya. Green
Yeah.
papaya salad, like Thai green
Which we
papaya.
have up there. We have it
That's
up there.
actually legit.
Yeah. So I'm happy that you planted this, Jacques, but this plant has been a complete and utter troll here. This isn't even the original.
No.
You cut off the original at the base and forced an offshoot.
I was like, one last chance?
One last chance, but man, that chance has been chanced
It's
because
going.
that is huge. It's actually finally taller than us for the first time in the entire history of its life. The citrus hedge, guys, I talk about it all the time, probably too much, I know, but I'm the most proud of it because it was the vision I had and it's perfectly expressed. I think that's why the yuzu coming over here, this was that little baby boy. It is now as tall as or taller than some of the other citrus, which completes the hedge. It means that from the fence over here to 8 or 9 citrus down, I have a 5+ foot tall wall of citrus that's blooming and flowering and fruiting throughout the year. When I first did this homestead, you remember, Jacques?
Oh yeah.
I made a spreadsheet,
One of the first things I did here.
Epic Orchard spreadsheet, and I mapped out month by month what would be in bloom and in fruit and in ready to harvest. And citrus, weirdly, at least in our climate, has a big spread. It's like 4 or 5 month spread where you're gonna get something. So this one hedge accounts for availability of fruit in my garden for at least a third of the whole year. And it looks really cool, although I would say right now it probably needs a bit of a prune. The only thing I could say is harvestable here though, Jacques.
I think of the lemons,
Maybe.
the pink lemonades.
Let's go down and take a look.
The cool thing is that this is like a privacy hedge, but it's edible. So it's not a waste of space.
I can't see, yeah, I can't see. So I think, yeah, you might be right. The pink lemonade, let me see here. There's probably one.
Are there?
Looks like they're sizing right now.
Here we go.
Is that a good one there? Oh, there you go. Yeah, because the pink lemonades are variegated. The leaves and the fruit's variegated, but this is too unripe. It's very hard, and you can see these ridge lines. You don't want that because the juice hasn't sort of pressed out from the inside, whereas this one is much more smooth. You can tell you got a knife on you?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at what we got in here.
It's a pretty lemon too. I'm not gonna lie, I've stolen quite a few of these.
I know you have. I know you have. Well, especially now that I don't live here full time, I got no clue what you're doing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Oh yeah.
Not a bad cross section.
I could smell it. It smells so good.
Yeah, that smells really good.
Kind of want to do a little bite.
We're gonna do a little juice, yeah, for sure.
I'm scared.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm biting.
Oh,
it's actually
I like it.
A little sweet.
I like it.
I don't mind that.
Mm.
I thought it was gonna hurt.
Mm. I just got hungry, dude. Like,
yeah,
I'm hungry for this.
Whoa, that's weird.
Why am I so hungry?
I don't know why it's so good. I've never actually just bitten a lemon like that.
Dude.
Might need to steal a couple more.
You throw a little sugar on that bee? Ooh.
That's a keeper.
Are you ready for the most moody shot of all time? Hey guys. Hey. Just have a little harvest for you.
Bam.
Jacques, pretty good harvest.
I'd say it's actually pretty epic.
It's huge. We also pulled some onions off of our curing rack, so we've got a few of those. But there's, I mean, the tomatoes are obviously the star of the show.
Yeah, the real question is, what are you gonna do with all these tomatoes?
I mean, I have to make a sauce.
Yeah.
And I already know that I'm not gonna make it the way that some people like, and that's fine. I put butter in mine, and I put a whole onion in. I cut it in half, I put an onion in.
Is that the Marzella Hassan?
Something like that, I don't know.
Classic though.
Let's call it the Espiritu sauce. It's the Espiritu sauce. And then we're gonna let the corn dry and do some cornmeal or something like that. Onions, I'm probably gonna do some pickled red onions, PROs. So there's gonna be a lot of kind of post use, not fresh use on some of this, but I'll show you something. Just because you harvest something late in the garden does not mean you have to give up. So this is slightly dented, I would say. So it's just touch over. It's not the end of the world. You can let that one dry. Even these, like, oh no, my jalapeno. No, that's gonna become a chipotle. And that's gonna become a nice ground spice. And a spice grinder, Jacques, is like $30 maybe?
You know, I bought one and I can't find it. It's been making me sad.
Well, maybe you can just steal mine like you do everything else. Hope you enjoyed this harvest, guys. We're gonna be doing more stuff at sunset because I think the garden looks beautiful, and also it is way more enjoyable to be here. But I don't know, felt good to be back in the, oh, sneaky guy. Good luck in the garden and keep on growing.